So we're gonna hop directly into the game. Thank you, Jackus, again, for being such a. It's not even about the money, dude. He helps out so much behind the scenes, guys. You don't know Jackus. If you see him in chat, give him a wave, give him a bit of love. But spawning here in the bottom right corner of the map, it's tied up. We're in the ace match of the round of 8. It's the Foreigner, the dirty, non-My Insanity representative. I'm just kidding. We love this guy. It's Kane.
The top left as the red Zerg is Axiom's Impact.
Kane may actually end up being off the team. I saw Penguin in chat last game talking a little bit how Kane's kicked for not representing.
Oh, his contract.
Actually, it was funny. Kane and Penguin and I were hanging out on the call before the Elima League this past weekend, and Kane was going to come cast with Zombie Grub and I, and I was looking forward to it a lot because Kane was a lot of fun to cast with last time we had him on. And during the call, he just straight up fell asleep, like headset on and everything. He just like leaned back on the couch and zonk, he was gone.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about today, but I'm kind of feeling the same thing, man.
Yeah, I see you bobbing and weaving over there in your chair, just trying to stay up. But in all seriousness, getting back on point here, that was a really good ZVZ for Kane's sake. And I really don't, I don't know if it was necessarily just that Impact killed the drones so Kane had a bigger army supply, but there's a lot of things that built up to that final point where Impact just, I felt the tech came too late for him. We saw one fight where he had Hydralisks.
Yep. Agreed. That's what I was going to go on. And just that it seemed that Kane knew where he was going and where the game was going, and Impact kind of didn't. It's not like Impact's bad. No, not at all. But, you know, you think you can attack and you can control the flow of a ZVZ with more roaches. And then you face a wall like what occurs on Deadwing, where they have 4 bases, they have a big army, they have fungals as well, and they have defender's advantage. And you gotta realize, I'm probably never gonna break that. You know, so you gotta like get your hive, get both your tech plus the spire plus the greater spire. You gotta match them as opposed to trying to force something that just isn't gonna happen. That's what Impact tried to do, and it didn't work. Completely different map though, King Stage on Station. You're never really gonna get that same like wall, like covering 4 bases. It's actually kind of hard to get a 4th base on this map in this matchup.
Yeah, and actually it's usually the stretch of that 4th that ends up costing a lot of folks games, depending on where that goes down. So many times we see the army get split, not sure where to defend, you know, over here to the left or in the main, watching out for the back rocks in the natural. I mean, it gets messy, quite frankly. But what I'm loving about today is, okay, sadly Target had more of a cool series than a close series, but both Littlebo and Kane come into this as definitely the underdogs. You know, they're the foreigners against these top-tier Koreans, and they've both taken it to the ace match. Like, I love that that's the case. This tournament has given me a lot more, a lot better, I guess, results than I had initially assumed. Not saying I was expecting Kane to lose 3-0 or anything like that, but still, you know, Polt kind of being our technical foreigner, I'm really curious to see if the final match today will hold up to the standards that these guys have set for them.
Still can't believe we coincidentally picked like the names in that one person from Korea, one person as a foreigner.
That happens a lot. That happened in the last one too.
Did it? I don't remember.
I think we had a lot more Koreans than we did foreigners that time though. But yeah, I remember in the 32 Boys 1 Cup.
Or maybe it makes sense because all the Koreans got first, all the foreigners got second.
Well, whatever the case may be, I'm totally pleased with the way it's ended up because it's not giving us poor games by any means. These have been some pretty close and some pretty good ones. Yep.
They both get a Baneling Nest, but they're also both droning. Impact even gets a Spine Crawler, so no tense moments here. A little surprising that no one even tried some Ling pressure, just as how long that last game went. It just seems that like after a long game, it's not that you don't like long games, it's just that I don't know, you just want to try something different, I suppose. So you try and see what holes are in their defense. And if Impact had gone for a Ling Baneling on it, probably would have been effective, as Kane goes for a very fast lair. Oh, so does Impact, slightly behind.
Well, still dancing around with the Lings. Meanwhile, as far as like, yeah, no thirds being rushed out. I kind of like that. Both players not getting too greedy here, as I feel like when you're on the ace match, the last thing you want to do is get caught playing greedy. And I feel like that's ZVZ in a nutshell for you. Like that's where a lot of pre-200 supply games end. Someone was playing a little bit greedy and got caught for it.
Yeah. Neither player. I mean, they're both investing into a couple of Banelings just in case there is a big Ling flood they're not expecting. So far, like twice in the past 4 days, we've seen those back rocks trying to be broken. for that big surprise Ling all in. This one Baneling has high hopes, really high hopes.
Softens up the Banelings, and I think even soaked one of Kane's. Definitely got that Zergling there. Ooh, that was not supposed to happen though.
Yeah. Kane is going to, you know, he's going to invest a lot in the Lings. Oh, but so is Impact. Okay, so
Spire
they're
versus
both.
Spire. Is this?
Yeah.
Is this 2013 January Zombie Grub? Like, what is happening?
Yeah. Both Spire, both going to invest a lot in the Lings, both going to have Ling Wars. So while not immediately, definitely all about that third. Lings attacking the third on either side, Lings running into each other's mains on either side, Banelings being either the crucial defense or the complete mishap.
Mayhaps be the mishap.
Yeah, say that 10 times fast.
Ye olde English. That Baneling got so many more kills than it should have out of Kane, but as far as baiting things go, I mean, this is so crazy. I'm really taken back. It's been so long. I think was it like Henchless Scarlet's the last real big competitive Muta versus Muta I can think of off the top of my head?
When was that?
WCS?
Oh, I thought you were talking about we were recasting.
No. I'm just saying, like, in general, you don't see this anymore. For a strategy that came out of Heart of the Swarm being literally the only strategy you could do for a long time, Muta versus Muta kind of fell off and started coming back a little bit with one player going Muta and the other would still go Roaches. But as far as this one goes, the climax of this series is going to end with who has basically one more Mutalisk.
Yeah. So far, Kane is looking really good in this fight. I mean, not the fight.
You're speaking too soon. There's a lot of Zerglings.
I didn't mean the fight. I meant the game, in that he has faster Mutas and he has a faster third.
Yeah, I would agree with this, but a lot is going to come down to like, how these Mutas get used, whether one gets caught off guard, whether the Queens get involved or not. I mean, it's really hard to get anything to support these other than just straight up Mutas, and that's why this third base comes into such a big effect. For those who maybe weren't hanging around when this was the strategy to go to, these units are so volatile. The Glaive Worm bounces are so random. It is seriously, and I'm not exaggerating here, a situation where one Mutalist can win you the game. But the curious thing for Impact is he goes for weapon upgrades over armor, and it was proved a long time ago, and this never changed, that armor upgrades are way better when it comes to these head-on engagements.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's because he thought his opponent wasn't going to go for Mutas. We'll see how that works out for him.
I mean, it's not terrible. He'll get the Carapace to follow it up, and Kane will get the weapons, and it'll usually be that situation where you're both stalemated to the point where you've got similar upgrades. But
that is true. You have to have a pretty convincing lead to know that to actually engage on Mutas. Like, In Control pretty much summed it up. Like, I have more flappy wings than you do, I think.
More wings flapping. Yeah, I remember that conversation. That's
yeah. It was pretty. I mean, he summed up the DVD at that time pretty nicely. But it is like you can't just be like, well, I think I have 2 more Mutas, and I think I took better Baneling engagements. No, don't even like that's too dangerous. So you see a lot of people going like, no, I'm not gonna do it. They back off.
Well, as far as the counts go right now, it is 14 versus 14. I mean, sometimes you can get that 1/6 Spore Core that get a shot off, and that's all you really need. For Kane's sake, though, whether it is, I mean, we have the ease of looking at these numbers. So we know, and you, the viewers, know that it's like, okay, Impact's got better Mutalisks, but for Kane's sake, there's a little bit extra going for him. You're going to have Banelings and Zerglings underneath this. They'll be able to soak some Glaive Worm bounces. They'll be able to reduce the damage, albeit very marginally. But every little bit counts for this. And Kane's counterattack right now, I don't know if I actually like this. I kind of feel like keeping these alive for the Muta War would have been better.
It ended up being pretty much a complete waste.
Yeah.
You know, Impact didn't have any Lings. Maybe that's different. It is mostly about the Muta War. However, if Lings surround the third, that's a dead third, and you're so far behind in the Muta War after that. If Lings are underneath Mutas and your own Lings are not, they soak up Glaive Worms. That's actually a really important part to the fight.
Well, Defender's advantage doesn't come as big of a deal. Impact actually snipes off 2 of the Mutalisks and takes a huge lead now. Again, it's so weird to consider like this would be a huge lead, quote unquote. But Kane's taking a fight. I don't think he can win. He's going to know this too, trying to bait that over the Spore Collar, but he's also got to defend the third at the same time. Running around with these Lings, trying to respond with the Mutalisks. Can't get caught out of position for even a second. Lots of Overlords here, though, are out of position, and Kane is going to have to spend so much money replacing these.
Oh, it's usually not about the minerals, but seriously, like, Lings are a very important part of this game. Remember that, you know, Kane got the +1 Carapace, and there is a Queen helping out. Well, they both bounce off each other.
They kind of have to, though. It's really hard to gauge that number once again, but it's 13-19. Still, though, Lings have not quite killed the Queen on the third base. Not a lot of drones have died either. Surprisingly, no damage getting dealt there, but that Mutalisk blow is still quite dangerous, and Kane is definitely not quite recovered yet. Like, he's not out of this game, but he's definitely in a fight where if he fights defensively over a Spore Crawler, okay, he's good to go, but out in the middle of the map, it's going to get super risky.
Yeah, and as you said, the upgrades kind of take a swap here, and there is a slight lead for Kane. It's just, again, you can't really tell, like, I'm definitely going to fight here because I think I have more. So I don't think that's ever going to play a role.
Yeah. Well, a couple of Lings going to chip away at this hatchery. Flying down here, Kane is still not a bad defensive spot, but this muted dynamic is so silly the way it goes. Sometimes you'll see players cut their losses and just go for that infestation pit, which can win you a game. Sometimes you'll see the minerals spin on not Zerglings, but instead queens. But every bit about this becomes a little bit more random and a little bit more just luck-based, quite frankly. Impact's got a big Mutalisk lead, so again, Kane may or may not know this. Impact may or may not know this, but we know that if Kane decides to take a fight, if it's 1-1 versus 1-1, Impact wins.
Impact keeps on rattling over Overlords. His upgrade isn't quite finished, but he just cancels and it's out.
Kane still with a lot of Lings waiting to try and soak those hits, but Impact setting up a pretty big attack to the south. You know, this base has barely held on several times so far, but I don't know if he can do it again. Oh, Impact actually sniping off that extraction is a pretty big deal. Every bit of gas counts. Every bit of gas is how you get these mutas where they are. I mean, it's usually not the minerals nearly as much as it is this gas.
Yeah, Impact was also up by, well, now 14 drones. As Kane starts remaking
Kane,
some.
there's a free muta. What are you doing?
Oh, that's how he's going to go from.
It's 33 to 28, though. I don't know if it's going to go well for Kane. He doesn't have anything to soak these glaive worms underneath because there's no queen helping out this time. He is losing this fight, make no mistake. But if he can get the muta count like 6, 8, he can actually manage a recovery process. But 9 mutas to 21 is devastating to see. That snowballs so quickly.
It does. It does. Everything looks like sort of close, then suddenly it looks not close at all. Ling counterattack, you know, it'd have to kill a base to make up. Even if it killed a base, it would make up for the mutas. Because eventually, if you're up by like 15 mutas, you can take a fight over a Spore Crawler. It's still not that good, but you can.
It gets to the point where you do dip in and you shoot it down. You'll lose 1 Mutalisk for the cost of it, but if you're up so many Mutalisks like this, like if you're up 11 Mutalisks, you can afford to lose 1 or 2 to take out those spores. You know, Kane put up a great fight in this series, but I'm pretty sure this is sadly where it's going to end for him. He takes a bad Bailey hit there at the very end, and Impact will just barely win this out 3 to 2. So